All right, we are live with Priscilla, and we're going to be working on the Sun Saturn trine from Taurus to Virgo. So, can you say something about maybe your work?
So right now I work in the foreign service. It's a bureaucratic job.
Okay, what does the Foreign Service do?
Well, I work at our embassies and consulates across the world, the Brazilian embassies and consulates, and basically paperwork, stamping, authorizing documents. Right now, I work mainly with scheduling in one sector that we have that gives assistance to Brazilians in need.
Okay, I'm hearing the eighth house, right? Giving assistance to Brazilians in need.
Yep.
Okay.
Very
And when
house.
it's about foreign embassies, I'm feeling the 12th house. And when it's bureaucratic work, I'm feeling, of course, Saturn and especially Virgo. Virgo is Mercury, so paperwork. Can you explain more about what Brazilian, that's new, why Brazil?
I was born in France, but I grew up in Brazil. My family is Brazilian. I'm really Brazilian. And then I work for the Brazilian Foreign Service.
Okay. So you're scheduling something. What exactly do you schedule?
We have Brazilians that are in situations of vulnerability, especially women that travel abroad and find themselves in situations of domestic violence or any kind of vulnerability. We have some consultants that can help them out. Lawyer, psychologist, social worker, to help them get back on their feet. So, and I basically coordinate this team. So a lot of my job is scheduling, but it's also coordinating the team and following up on the cases. Right now, but it changes a lot depending on where I'm posted. Right now, my current posting is related to that.
Okay, so you're helping people find security.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling the Taurus in that. And so what do you schedule actually?
The appointments with the consultants. I screen what kind of issue the person has and what kind of consultant could be helpful, and then I
Okay.
coordinate that.
Okay, the eighth house, you're putting them in touch with someone. You're finding out what they need and you're finding the person that can help them. So you're the in between the eighth house.
Yeah.
And you're helping them get legal, kind of professional help. There I'm feeling the Saturn and Virgo. Can you give
Yeah.
an example of like a case recently?
Um, no, basically, what the issues that we deal with the most is women victims of domestic violence. So they come and they are in the situation where they don't know who to turn to. So we hook them up with this lawyer that can help them with the legal issues of, leaving the house and kids and what happens with that, and a social worker that can help them navigate the Belgian bureaucracy to find help and assistance. And a lot of those women don't have papers here, so there's also that. So we have a team of people that try to help them navigate whatever hardships they're going through here.
Okay, there I hear the 12th house being in help of people who are going through hardships. I also feel the eighth because these people that you're helping are in very transitional positions. Like they're trying to leave their house and find housing security. So you're kind of walking them through a door. And that they're missing paperwork again for me is like 12th house, that something isn't there. And when it's papers again, it's Virgo. So what do you do if someone is missing paperwork? How does that work?
That's limited. There is a part of the paperwork that we can do. We're a consulate, so a part of our, well, most of our job is basically paperwork, but that's Brazilian paperwork. And the paperwork they need here, sometimes they need assistance with, I don't know, birth certificate or passport, and that we can help with. But sometimes they need the papers, like the visa or the residency papers here, and that we can't do. We can't. But those consultants, they can show them the way, like help fill out forms or tell them where to go and what kind of paperwork they're going to need here in Belgium.
Okay, so the eighth, I see. So you're explaining to people the things that they need to do and what kinds of things they need to have, and you're helping them locate whatever documents and papers they would need. And that's kind of your work, is helping people transition
Yeah, yeah,
into Belgium,
yeah.
mostly Brazilians.
Right now, yeah, I move around, right? So right now I'm stationed in Belgium, and in Belgium, that's what I do.
You move around.
Yeah, I move a lot, every 2
Okay.
to 5 years.
Every 2 to 5 years.
Yeah,
Why?
because of the job. It's the Brazilian Foreign Service. It's like the diplomatic service of Brazil. So every 2 to 5 years, I go to a different posting.
Okay, but you're always staying kind of with the Brazilian government.
For now, yes, until I learn astrology and can transition myself to something more fun.
Okay. Okay, there I'm feeling the sun Saturn because you're always representing the Brazilian government. Since you, how many years have you been doing that?
21 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always the same.
Not the same job, like in-place job. This is the first time I'm doing this assistance. It's a new project actually that we have, but in different places I do different things, like issuing visas, authorizing issuing passports and visas, authorizing this kind of document, or working with accounting, or
Okay.
it depends where I'm stationed.
Yeah, okay, the accounting, right? Taurus, keeping the books, eighth house. Other people's documents, like their visas and their passports, and you're the authorizing authority, Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is neat.
It's starting to make sense, right? Little by little.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's not encouraging because I'm not a big fan of my job, but it makes sense that that is my job. I mean, it does work with the planets.
Well, yeah, and I know some of the other planets. I'm just choosing not to mention them, even though I think they're so relevant. Like the Mars, Mercury, and Aries, for example, right, dealing with victims of mostly domestic violence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever house any of these people or like give them more than what you're supposed to through work?
Not currently, no. I'm trying to keep some boundaries there. I have gotten involved in other postings, other assignments. I have gotten more involved, but that led me to burnout. So now I'm trying to keep better boundaries, not related to work, but when people in general need help in my life, and I have housed people several times for several different reasons, but now not so much.
Okay, I feel that in the sun in the eighth house, Taurus. Yeah, housing other people, providing security for them.
Oh, that has happened a lot in my life. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've had
Can
lots
you
of.
give just one example?
But yeah, sure. The, well, last time, not last time, but one of the last countries I was in Helsinki, and I had a bunch of friends there, and I had two friends that came stay with me in different times. One of them was just going through a divorce, and then she needed a place to stay, so she ended up living at my place for a little over a year, I think. Then
Oh,
I had another friend who had some health issues and also broke up, a breakup, and then she also stayed in my place for a few months. Several issues. When I lived here before, I there was this girl. She was a friend of a friend, and she was here sort of in Erasmus. And then she had a place to stay, but it was far from the university, and it was expensive. So I told her, "You can just stay with me." So she lived there for a year. So several different occasions, and those are just a few. There are lots more.
okay. And so it's the people are there and they're kind of using your house
They
just.
stay, yeah, it's like a roommate kind situation. They have a room and they live there for a while.
Okay. Okay, I'm feeling the Taurus very much. It's a property that
Yeah.
you're sharing with other people.
Yeah.
And why? Why do you do that?
Well, that's a good question. Sometimes because they're my friends and they need the help and support at some point, and I can provide that. Sometimes, but I have also rented rooms, but that didn't work very well. But I do have the room, and in some situations it worked well. I got along well with whoever was staying at my place. In some situations, not so much. But it's something I don't really think about. It's like, you need a place to stay. Sure, I have the room. Why not?
Okay, so you like to be helpful
Yeah,
with what you have.
when I can. Yeah.
Okay. There I'm feeling the Sun and Taurus in the eighth as well, that you're sharing the things that you have with others, and that's like a consistent theme. And then the Saturn in the 12th makes me think about people who have nowhere else to go.
Mm. In some cases, yeah.
What is your kind of all right, you said you've been doing that for 21 years, working at the Brazilian embassies.
Yeah.
What's in the background of that? What else do you do in life? Kind of how do you live your life? What are you interested in? What are you focused on? What is your goal?
So right now, learning astrology. Ever since I found astrology, that has been my hyper focus. But I've had different phases in life. Huh? Like there was a time when I was very into poker, and then I studied poker, played poker, and then there was a time when well, more recently, I discovered that I'm autistic. So I hyper focus on that neurodiversity and all that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm into astrology, but other than that, I used to like reading a lot also. When I was younger, a few years ago, I still played video games. Now it's mostly reading and astrology.
Uh-huh. Reading, like what?
Fiction. I love reading fiction, fantasy, crime, detective stories. Those are and now that I found astrology, I'm also reading astrology a lot.
Okay, that makes me think about Virgo, like studying a lot, reading a lot, and like at length, and I guess also things that are complicated, maybe hard to understand. Fantasy worlds, 12th house as well. Astrology for me is very 12th house. And then the eighth house, I was feeling that in the mysteries, like being interested in mysteries and thrillers.
Yeah. And now the all spirituality and the supernatural, that's all coming online for me now.
Okay. Do you live alone?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay, so no partner.
Nope. My
What's
last
your
relationship ended 4 years ago.
okay,
When
and
Saturn ingressed Pisces, which in whole signs is my seventh house, on the date that
oh
Saturn in.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that you rented some apartments, so that tells me you have some properties or
No, rented rooms in my apartments, like this whole roommate kind of situation, me housing people. Sometimes it was because people needed a place to stay. Sometimes I tried renting out a room, but that didn't work very well on the occasions that I tried.
so you don't it's not like you have other assets. You have your house or your apartment and that's it. And
Uh,
sometimes you're renting it to people.
no, usually when I'm traveling, I don't have a house. It's because I'm moving so much, so I'm renting wherever I am. I did buy an apartment a few years back in Brazil, and that's rented out, but that's about it. I don't really have many assets now.
Oh, okay. Who's managing the apartment in Brazil?
My family, my mom.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what's the particularities around that property?
Sorry, I got cut off.
Is it is she okay? Is that a challenge, the managing of that property?
Not really. I don't think there is an agency that sort of manages the whole thing, and my mom is just the point person. When it's rented, and I don't even hear about it. When tenants decide to leave, they let me know and put it on the market again. So I saw the apartment once. It was just something, yeah, sure, let's buy an apartment.
Oh, really? Okay. That makes me think about the sun in the eighth Taurus.
Mm,
Having a apartment that one is being taken care of by your mother, and two, usually there's somebody renting it there. And it's yours, but
mm,
you're always sharing it. You virtually never see it. That also makes me think about Saturn in the 12th. You don't really have
mm.
access to that property.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Why Belgium?
It's the job. I had lived here before, and there was an opening now. I lived here between 2011 and 2016. And in my previous posting, it was time to leave, and there was an opening here. So I said, yeah, why not? Let's go back to Belgium.
Okay, so there the job is telling you where to go, where you can
More or
live.
less, there's a process. So there's a selection process, and but I have to go somewhere, and then they give me some options, and I reply, and then we ended up in Belgium.
Huh. Okay, are you like a very hardworking person, or you care about things being right, like you have to check a lot?
So I am a perfectionist, but that sort of paralyzes me. I can be hardworking if after the burnout. To be honest, I am not very much. I'm trying to save my energy. I can work very hard on things I'm interested in. Things I'm not interested in, I work very hard on overcoming my resistance to them.
Okay. Can you give an example of something you're very interested in that you may have put a lot of work into?
Well, all of those things that I hyper focused on. Poker, when I was playing poker, I was really studying and playing. When I got my dog, I read all the books about dog training and dog.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Now with astrology, I've been trying to learn and but that's been more challenging.
Why?
Discipline. I get too caught up in all the different techniques and the different schools of astrology, and I am fascinated by the outer planets, but they're not very useful when you're reading a chart, but I'm fascinated by the big transits, so I can't really focus on one thing and pursue that. I'm all over the place. That moon in Gemini that's not there is
Actually, but I'm even feeling the Saturn in Virgo very much
mm.
in the 12th. Um, it's like this because the sun is touching Saturn, it's kind of like you're always attentive to Saturn. And Virgo, because it's Mercury, is about like reading, right? So reading a book or reading an article or watching a YouTube video or taking a course. So for me, that you're struggling with all the information, maybe some of it is not useful, the 12th house.
Mm.
And so that you get yeah, you're reading all kinds of different things, but maybe not making progress, or you're not too sure if you're succeeding, 12th house, Virgo.
Mm. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah?
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of information, and I find it all so fascinating. But I have a hard time just bringing it all together and having a structure of a discipline of now I'm gonna look into whatever the moon and then studying that. And I haven't found my mojo yet with the study of astrology.
Okay. Uh-huh. So it's kind of like you put a lot of work into it, but it escapes you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that Saturn and Virgo in the 12th?
It might be from what you're saying, yes, but like I said, my Saturn is elusive to me. Like I have a lot of respect for the guy, and I can see in my history it acting in different instances, but I don't really know how to connect to it.
And give an example.
Of what of the cycles, like every time there is a Saturn ingress. Well, when I was first started studying astrology, I saw Saturn sort of marking the phases of my life. Like when I on my Saturn return, I had never thought about having a kid, and on my Saturn return, suddenly I wanted to have a kid. I didn't end up doing that, but it suddenly became this big thing. I went looking into, how I would do to get pregnant, and so I feel, and very often when Saturn changes sign, I move countries. It's not exactly, but it sort of coincides with.
Yeah, so do you see the 12th house? Because the 12th is when you're in an unfamiliar place, you're a foreigner. And so you're a foreigner again and again. Like that's a constant in your life. Must be if you keep moving countries.
Yeah,
It's like you can never really settle down.
yeah, yeah. That is definitely a constant. So that is definitely that tracks.
And also working with the government.
Yeah, I know. It when I started studying astrology, I wrote a text about how my planets decided what I was going to be when I grew up, and it does make sense. It's a good compromise, but it's a compromise.
Okay. How are you with like medicine, medical stuff? Maybe like herbs and healing and
I just became interested in that now. Like I'm starting to explore a little, but that also sidetracks me from the astrology. But I've been looking into more holistic energy healing, Reiki, that kind of stuff. So I've been more interested in that now. But it just came to my awareness after I started exploring astrology and spirituality. That was not on my radar before. And also I thought at some point when I was younger, I went to business school, but at some point I wanted to go study psychology, get a psychology degree. I never did. When I got my diagnosis, I thought about it again, but then I found astrology, and astrology is more interesting.
okay, what is your diagnosis?
Autism, ADHD.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So what does that mean for you? How does that change your life?
Wow. Well, finding getting the diagnosis was life changing in many ways. Like I finally saw myself. I was very unaware of myself, of my mental processes, of my body, and then exploring the diagnosis made me see myself in a whole different light and understand way better how my brain works, and this hyper focus thing, and the Taurian, my Taurian qualities are very autistic. Also, this safety. If I go to a restaurant, I'm always going to eat the same thing. I'm always going to
Yeah.
sit with the same
Okay.
chair.
Here's the Saturn, right? Because Saturn is so limiting,
Okay, right.
so particular. Yeah. So the Sun in Taurus with Saturn,
So,
highly restrictive eating.
yeah. Sitting at the same place, wearing the same things. If I find something that's safe, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. Yeah. And having a lot of resistance to new things, new people, new routines. And then
Okay.
the
Think
ADHD is
about,
the, huh?
go ahead. Also about your brain function, Saturn and Virgo in the 12th, because the 12th is about the mind, right? So
Mm.
having trouble like keeping track of information, for example, Saturn and Virgo in the 12th, or reading too much, or getting frazzled, or losing documents around.
Okay, that's interesting. I usually associated that with the moon, with my moon in Gemini, but it makes sense. And I never thought about Saturn having to do with that. I'm learning.
Can you say more about your autism and your how it affects your behavior? How, yeah, just what particular things does it make about you?
Oh, many things. Like I have a hard time switching tasks. If I'm on task, I focus on that, and it's very hard for me to switch. It takes me a while. If new people come into conversations and the energy shifts, I don't know how to deal with that. I socializing, I socialize well, but I miss a lot of social cues. Like people don't understand. It's hard for me to communicate. People don't really understand what I'm trying to say. Also, I have that was something fascinating for me to observe when I first got the diagnosis and started looking into it, like how I am very literal thinking. So if someone asks me, because I have a car. When I lived in Brussels the last time, I was one of my only friends with a car. So everybody that wanted to move, they asked for my help. I'm moving. Can I borrow your car? Can you lend me the car? And I thought in my head, sure, I can drive. I'm gonna get there. They're gonna load the car, put the boxes in, and load the car. But that's not what people mean when they ask help to move. They want you to carry boxes, and close boxes. But I did it like 5 times, and I always thought I was going to drive and not do the rest of the process. So this very literal, narrow, rigid thinking.
Okay, I see. So do you see the Taurus in that?
Well, yeah, nowadays, yeah.
But also, in moving people's boxes, right? Taurus is the physical labor of moving things, right? And in the eighth house, it's other people who are moving. So they want you to do the carrying. And the Saturn in Virgo in the 12th house, because Virgo is a Mercury sign, is about the communication that you're missing all the time, that is somewhere in the background, but you don't even know how to address it, maybe. And so that there's constantly something going on that you're not really perceiving. Saturn and Virgo in the 12th.
Very often. Yeah, that's very often. and people taking stuff that I say, like me not understanding what people are trying to say because I'm literal in my thinking. Like I hear the words and then I think they mean the words, but they mean something else. And also people
Okay.
assuming meaning or whatever in what I say, like putting meaning in words that I didn't say. So I say the
Okay,
words I mean.
there's Saturn in the 12th in Virgo. Words that you didn't say that are being put on you, and you
Yeah.
don't even know how to deal with it because it's made up. And notice again, it's connected to the Sun in Taurus being very literal.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah? Yeah, great. Now we're getting somewhere. Also, that you have trouble switching between tasks. Because again, the Sun in Taurus, staying focused on one thing and,
Yes.
and being kind of parked there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Virgo is the mutability, right? Changing between tasks, new information coming in. So do people see you as being very kind of slow or obstinate?
Obstinate, yeah. They call it stubborn, and I say no. I'm a woman of convictions. Slow. That I don't know. Sometimes for some things, I have that inertia. It takes a lot to get me moving, and then it takes a lot to get me to stop moving. Like inertia, that Taurian inertia, I feel a lot. Like there's a lot of energy required for me to move, and a lot of energy required for me to stop whatever I'm doing.
So you must have kind of like more health concerns.
Well, yeah, because
Like your body, for example, must be you have to learn more, focus more on the body.
that I need to learn. I'm completely disconnected from my body. That was something that the diagnosis showed me how, like the hypo awareness, like not either things that bother me, they bother me a lot, and I can't disconnect from that. So tags or some kinds of fabrics, those sensory issues, I have a lot of them, but also things that I don't realize. Like if I want to go to the bathroom, it might be that I only figure that out when it's almost too late. If I'm hungry, I might not realize it I forget to eat. I don't have that.
I hear the Virgo in a lot of that because Virgo is those like normal processes, like eating and feeling like what is happening with your nervous system and what it needs now, so that you don't even catch the signals. Saturn in the
Yeah.
12th Virgo.
Yeah.
And then you have sensory issues, also Saturn in Virgo connected to the sun in Taurus.
Mm,
So that it's about like physical things that are bothering you.
yeah.
Are you avoidant towards certain objects?
How do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be autistic. I don't know what other things it makes you like. You can't touch certain things, or you can't eat certain foods, or always grosses you out,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah,
need to
like
do
with
things a
food.
certain way, kind of OCD type.
Yeah, with food, it was always a challenge, like textures and the way food looks and the taste. There are many things. I'm working on those things now because I want to eat more healthy. But I up until very recently, I ate like a 6-year-old. It's like pasta and safe foods, pasta, potatoes, and industrialized food. Now and also food, that was something interesting also to figure out, because as a kid my mom always tried to give me like fruit to eat, for instance, but fruit is not consistent. Like you get an apple, it might taste like something one day and something else the other day, and maybe it's rotten on the inside or whatever. So fruit, you never really know what you're gonna eat. It tastes different, it feels different, it's the consistency is so I didn't eat fruit because I don't know, it's not safe. So that
Mm,
was
mm.
interesting to explore, but definitely. And also fabrics. There are several fabrics that I don't wear. I like wearing high heels. Women have to wear high heels, and at some point in my life I did, but it was unbearable. So at some point I stopped.
Uh-huh. Do you have to do more to also get ready to go out, or do you have some kind of rituals that take a while?
Not really, because that I'm all for comfort. So now for me, it's like get dressed, it's jeans, t-shirt, and comfortable clothes. So I don't do anything that takes too long.
Okay, I feel you doing very hard study of some kind, and you're sitting for a long time, you're going through it, trying to figure and understand something.
Yeah, when I want to find something out or understand something, then I go deep. I try to find sources and to understand. I do that, but generally, like, I don't have a lot of experience with studying because I was always a good student. I never really needed to do much of an effort in school. So now it's double the effort because I never learned how to be efficient in my efforts.
Uh-huh. Do you have any kind of skin condition?
I get stuff that I pick, but other than that, I don't think so. But I get like stuff, like, what's it called? I don't know, but
Like eczema?
yeah, but I had that for after my teenage years. I had a lot of that. Now it's
Yeah.
less, but then I get sometimes the picking kind of things. Yeah.
Or what about like dirtiness, like having stuff around?
How do you mean?
Are you particular about having everything in order at
No,
home? Like
no, no, no.
you're
I'm
chaotic.
Yeah, very. And that was before I started studying astrology, and someone told me I was a Virgo rising. I'm like, that clearly doesn't work because I'm the least organized person I know. I'm a mess. And so now I see I have systems for a lot of different things, but in terms of my physical space is a mess. It's completely chaos. I don't know how to organize.
Yeah, okay, there's Saturn in the 12th Virgo.
Mm.
Everything is a chaos, nothing is in order.
Also,
Do
that's
you have
yours.
things like on the floor and just like lots of random things around?
Everywhere.
Obstacles? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's Sun Saturn, Taurus Virgo.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause there.
All right, this was fun.
Yeah, you can see how the more we talk about the one aspect, the more is coming out. But because that aspect holds so many stories in the first place, it's kind of a puzzle that we have to approach little by little. And the way we do that is through the stories that you tell. I was feeling the Aries come up so many times, but we were good not to go there.
Yeah, that was something when I started studying astrology also, and with the diagnosis, because I have a lot of fire, like I have planets
Yeah,
in all my
Mercury,
fire.
Mars, Venus, yeah.
Yeah, no, but also I have planets in all the fire signs, and it not so with the other elements. But I never found ways to express that fire. I never knew it was there. It just came out like suppressed, in the shadow, like in explosively. This fire, I'm now learning to deal with my fire.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
that's
I have
Saturn
the
is transiting Aries now, so he's conjuncture Venus especially. But okay, that's for another. Okay, I'm just gonna stop recording. So me and Priscilla are signing out. All right.